The LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
So Caitlin Clark played golf during the week, and obviously it was a big deal. Surprisingly enough, an almost bigger deal than Unrivaled.
Everyone believes Caitlin Clark is the undisputed golden ticket for the WNBA, a superstar whose magnetic appeal guarantees unprecedented success for the league. But what if the truth is far more complicated, revealing a subtle yet undeniable tension, where other leagues aren't just capitalizing on her fame, but might actually be subtly undermining the WNBA's efforts? The narrative unfolding around Clark's arrival isn't just about a star athlete, it's a high-stakes chess match for cultural relevance in women's sports, and the WNBA, surprisingly, appears to be losing ground on its own turf. We're about to uncover a pattern of events so peculiar, it forces us to ask, is the LPGA intentionally throwing shade, or is the WNBA simply fumbling its biggest opportunity yet? This isn't just conjecture, it's a deep dive into the recent controversies and untold stories that suggest a much darker dynamic at play.
So I talked about it in a previous video how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television.
Little did anyone know, a casual golf appearance by Caitlin Clark would ignite a media firestorm, not just for the LPGA, but for the entire landscape of women's professional sports. When Clark stepped onto the green, the LPGA didn't just acknowledge her, they seized the moment with a social media blitz that generated a staggering 7 million impressions. To put that into perspective, this engagement dwarfed their typical reach, showcasing an almost predatory efficiency in leveraging Clark's star power. Their posts, often framed with adoring captions like, "Who doesn't love Caitlin Clark?" felt less like genuine compliments and more like a carefully crafted spotlight designed to highlight a stark contrast. This wasn't merely good marketing, it was a strategic masterstroke that inadvertently or perhaps intentionally exposed the WNBA's perceived hesitancy to embrace its own generational talent. The sheer virality of these posts didn't just celebrate Clark, it subtly questioned why the league she was about to join wasn't generating the same level of buzz.
Caitlin Clark played some golf, and what we saw from Caitlin Clark playing golf was the LPGA being really happy about it.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the WNBA seemed to be struggling to keep pace, or even to acknowledge the magnitude of what was happening. While other sports leagues and even individual athletes enthusiastically welcomed Caitlin Clark as a pivotal figure in women's athletics, the WNBA, the very league poised to benefit most from her arrival, remained conspicuously quiet. Worse still, reports surfaced of a series of promotional missteps and outright omissions that painted a picture of a league seemingly unconcerned with its most valuable asset. From glaring errors like mispronouncing Clark's name during official announcements, to a noticeable lack of proactive, high-impact marketing, the WNBA appeared to be fumbling the ball at a critical juncture. This wasn't just a missed opportunity, it felt like a collective inability to recognize the seismic shift Clark represented, leaving a gaping void that rival organizations were all too eager to fill.
It's gotten to this stage now where it seems like they're just trolling the WNBA. Like, at this stage, I think they're just trolling the WNBA.
But to truly grasp the weight of these missteps, we need to understand just how monumental Caitlin Clark's presence truly is, and why her appeal goes far beyond the basketball court. She isn't just a phenomenal athlete, she's a cultural phenomenon, a transcendent figure whose performances have captivated colossal audiences, and whose genuine personality has endeared her to fans from every demographic. This broad appeal makes her a uniquely powerful draw, a golden ticket that many leagues dream of. The LPGA's action, while outwardly celebratory, carried an undeniable undercurrent, almost as if they were gently reminding the world what a cultural icon looks like, and by extension, subtly questioning why the WNBA wasn't showcasing her with the same fervor. The implication was clear: if a golf league could recognize and amplify her star power so effectively, what was holding back the league she was actually joining? The question then becomes, is this a calculated campaign, or simply a byproduct of an established league failing to grasp the magnitude of its own moment? And what does this all mean for the future of women's sports and the battle for the spotlight? The answers might be more complex and more revealing than you think.
You see here, this is days later. Nothing but love for Caitlin Clark over here. Constantly saying, like, It's always, everything is like, who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? Like, all of these posts are like,
Everyone thought the WNBA was on the cusp of a golden era, ready to explode into the mainstream with the arrival of a generational talent like Caitlin Clark. But the truth is far darker, revealing a perplexing strategic misstep that has left fans, analysts, and even other sports leagues utterly baffled. While the LPGA saw an opportunity and seized it, garnering over 34 million impressions from just a few social media posts about Clark, the WNBA has in many ways fumbled the ball, with everything from misspelled names in official materials to a startling lack of promotional foresight. This isn't just about a rookie, it's about a league struggling to understand its own potential, and the consequences could reshape the future of women's sports as we know it.
And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world. And her name is Nelly Korda.
The LPGA's embrace of Caitlin Clark wasn't merely a gesture of admiration. It was a masterclass in strategic alignment. They recognized her magnetic appeal, her ability to draw eyeballs to any sport, and acted decisively. By subtly linking their brand to Clark, even when she wasn't playing golf, they tapped into her colossal fan base, attracting a new demographic that might never have considered tuning into an LPGA event. This move wasn't about competitive rivalry, but about shared growth, demonstrating a forward-thinking approach that positioned them as innovators in the evolving landscape of women's athletics. The LPGA understood that in today's digital age, relevance is currency, and Caitlin Clark is a goldmine. But here's where the narrative takes a peculiar turn. While other sports, from tennis greats like Serena Williams and Caroline Wozniacki to NFL stars, publicly celebrated Clark's talent and tenacity, the WNBA seemed hesitant, almost reluctant to fully embrace their biggest star. This isn't just a marketing oversight. It points to a deeper, more systemic issue within the league. Unlike the NBA, which thrives on individual brand building and superstar narratives that ultimately elevate the entire league, the WNBA has historically struggled to balance team-first ethos with individual player promotion. This has left fans bewildered, wondering why a league with a player capable of drawing record-breaking viewership would appear to sideline her, even inadvertently, from its promotional campaigns. The WNBA's perplexing strategy, or lack thereof, has sparked intense debate. Some argue it's a cultural issue, an internal resistance to the kind of individualistic stardom that defines male sports, preferring to emphasize collective achievement. Others point to structural challenges, limited marketing budgets, smaller media footprints, and a perceived fear of overshadowing existing talent. Whatever the underlying reasons, the outcome is undeniable. A monumental missed opportunity. The league watched as Clark broke collegiate records, drove unprecedented viewership, and filled arenas, yet appeared unprepared to fully harness that momentum, creating a vacuum that other leagues were all too eager to fill. And this brings us to the LPGA's seemingly innocent yet undeniably pointed social media posts. Phrases like "nothing but love for Caitlin Clark" or "who doesn't love Caitlin Clark" might seem like harmless compliments, but in the context of the WNBA's conspicuous silence and perceived missteps, these posts took on a subtly provocative tone. It's difficult not to interpret them as a form of strategic trolling, a way to highlight the WNBA's apparent shortcomings while simultaneously boosting their own visibility. This wasn't just about appreciating Clark, it was a calculated move to draw attention to a broader discussion about how leagues treat their most valuable assets, and the WNBA was clearly on notice. The Caitlin Clark phenomenon extends far beyond her incredible on-court performances. It has become a powerful mirror reflecting how different leagues handle their stars and, by extension, their own future. While the LPGA continues to bask in the glow of Clark's star power, the WNBA's silence, or at least its muted response, grows louder, raising critical questions. Can the WNBA pivot, or will Clark's meteoric rise continue to primarily benefit everyone except the league she's about to join? This dynamic forces us to consider the larger sports landscape, where visibility, brand loyalty, and fan engagement are just as crucial as athletic prowess. Across the entire spectrum of professional sports, star athletes are the ultimate drivers of brand loyalty, ticket sales, and media engagement. Think of Michael Jordan transforming the NBA into a global empire, or Serena Williams transcending tennis to become a cultural icon. These figures go beyond their sport, embodying aspiration and excellence. Caitlin Clark possesses that exact same unparalleled potential. The crucial difference lies not in her talent, but in how leagues choose to cultivate it. The LPGA, for instance, immediately recognized her drawing power and consciously aligned their brand, creating a symbiotic relationship where both benefited. This was a deliberate long-term strategy, not a one-off tactic. In stark contrast, the WNBA's approach has been hesitant, almost passive. Despite having a player who could single-handedly attract millions of new viewers, their marketing tactics have often appeared reactive and underdeveloped. This isn't a new problem. The WNBA has historically struggled to elevate its astounding athletes like Breanna Stewart or Aja Wilson to the same global notoriety as their male counterparts, much to the frustration of longtime fans. The league's failure to consistently promote its stars even before Clark has been a persistent Achilles heel, leaving valuable opportunities on the table. It's not just the LPGA acknowledging Clark's worth. Athletes and entire leagues across diverse sports, from tennis to soccer, have openly expressed their admiration. Tennis legend Caroline Wozniacki even mused about playing doubles with Clark, purely for the enormous audiences she would attract. This goes beyond mere appreciation. It's a strategic understanding of the modern sports ecosystem. Other leagues see Caitlin Clark as a powerful conduit to new fan bases, leveraging her immense notoriety to expand their own brands. It's a savvy, calculated approach that prioritizes visibility and engagement, making the WNBA's reluctance to fully adopt a similar strategy all the more puzzling. In today's hyper-connected world, social media is the undisputed kingmaker of public perception and engagement. The LPGA's handling of Caitlin Clark on digital platforms has been nothing short of a masterclass. By consistently featuring her, even in casual contexts, they generated an unprecedented wave of excitement, translating into those 34 million impressions across various platforms. For a league that traditionally struggles for widespread popularity, this was a colossal victory, attracting new followers and expanding their reach exponentially. The WNBA, on the other hand, has often seemed to miss these digital opportunities, their social media strategy appearing more reactive than proactive, consistently failing to convert Clark's existing buzz into sustained league engagement. Perhaps one of the most perplexing aspects of this entire saga is the perceived division within the WNBA itself. While many players have publicly welcomed Clark, some veterans have been less enthusiastic, leading to speculation about internal politics or a fear of overshadowing existing stars. This tension brings to light the WNBA's ongoing struggle to balance its cherished team-oriented identity with the undeniable power of individual star appeal. The NBA successfully markets players like LeBron James and Stephen Curry as global brands, understanding that their individual magnetism ultimately benefits the entire league. The WNBA's hesitance to fully embrace this model, particularly with a superstar like Clark, risks alienating the very fans drawn to her unique personality and electrifying play. The WNBA is a league in constant evolution, and with growth often comes uncertainty. Embracing a phenomenon like Caitlin Clark carries immense benefits, but also perceived risks. What if her overwhelming popularity creates resentment among other players? What if it disrupts established team dynamics? These are legitimate concerns, but they pale in comparison to the larger imperative. The WNBA desperately needs Caitlin Clark. Her unparalleled capacity to attract audiences and generate buzz is a potent force for good. Ignoring or downplaying her significance isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a gamble with the league's burgeoning future, one that other sports are more than happy to capitalize on. Remember the LPGA's subtle trolling at the beginning of this story? It wasn't just a clever marketing ploy, it was a potent message to the entire sports world. The WNBA's handling of Caitlin Clark has become a stark case study, demonstrating what happens when a league either seizes or passes up a generational opportunity. The LPGA's fervor, contrasting sharply with the WNBA's often perplexing silence, has put the league on notice. They have the talent, the audience, and the potential to become a true global powerhouse. But to achieve this, they must fundamentally reassess their strategy. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about the future of women's sports as a whole. The LPGA will continue to ride the wave of Clark's popularity, and how the WNBA responds to her ascension will undeniably shape its own trajectory for years to come. The league must decide, will it embrace individualism, make robust marketing investments, and seize every opportunity to elevate its profile, or risk fading into the background while other sports reap the rewards? What do you think about the WNBA's approach to Caitlin Clark and how it compares to other leagues? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.